Hi, Patricia.
David, how are you this afternoon?
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for inviting me in your beautiful, beautiful home.
So glad to have you.
Well, thank you. Well, here we are in beautiful Inyokern, Indian Wells Valley, on the outskirts of Inyokern, Ridgecrest. And today is Thursday, April 19, 2018. Life Stories with Patricia Farris. This is story number 10. I thought I would introduce today's story. Your wonderful daughter Laura, who served me coffee a few minutes ago until you got home, and she was very gracious. We were just talking, and she just said something very poetic, and I thought of suggesting as a theme for our 10th story today, or actually 11th story, my bad, the simple things in life that make me very happy. So perhaps you can talk to us about things that make you happy since you're a child, a younger person, in your adult life and all that. So I'd like to start this with this idea, and then we can go anywhere your thoughts might take you.
I'm thinking about the best things in life are free. I'm thinking about the simple things. Living the moment. If you miss the moment, if you capture the moment and live the moment, you live life.
Carpe diem, carpe rosam. 2,000 years ago, they understood the same ideas that you're talking about today. Without internet, without all the fancy schmancy things.
And I think I was very blessed to be born and grew up in a time where there weren't all the distractions, and I could walk on my grandmother's farm down to the spring, and she got her. She didn't have running water in her house. She literally got the water to spring in an open bucket.
Oaken bucket?
It's a wooden bucket, and the water there's something about, of course, after it's used and the water, it absorbs the moisture and it stays.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes a very nice tasting water. And then watching her ducks come down to the creek and take their bath, and those simple things in my childhood memory are the things I probably treasure more than most anything.
Since you talked about free things, I have to be very honest about this. Being an immigrant from Romania and having lived most of my life in New York City, though it's in the United States, it's a different universe. Finally, I get free lessons from wonderful people like you that teach me what an oaken bucket is?
Oaken buckets.
Oaken bucket. So I'm learning English all over again.
From oak trees.
From oaken bucket.
It's called an oaken bucket.
Yeah, we don't study these subjects, at least I didn't in New York City where I
Then
grew
you
up.
had a dipper.
A dipper, you see.
And everybody drank out of the same dipper all day.
So thank you for the free lessons in American vernacular. That's wonderful. So we cherish free things that come from good people.
Right.
Yes. But I see somebody here that just walked in.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Paul. That speaks to our. What
Hi,
we're
Paul.
discussing. This is my
David,
son, Paul.
This is Paul. I learned. Oh, sit down. Yes, we have a producer with us. We're going to introduce in a quick moment. This is Laura, and she's a great photojournalist. We're at home with the whole mishpucha. There she is, and she's helping us, coordinating all the. Hi, Paul.
Hi, how you doing today?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So, what brings you around the neighborhood?
Well, I came up here to kind of take a look at things and take a look at our new spring outside and the water feature and see if things are working okay and kind of do my part of maintenance up here.
So, this is the famous Paul that became the father figure. I know he's born in 1949, right? And you, the guy that solves any kind of problem.
He's the fix-it person.
You're the Mr. Fix-It.
That's what they call me. I try.
Right. What did you fix today?
Well, today, I don't know what it was. We were doing a lot of different things today, but we had a lot of meetings and stuff like that today, getting some people together to work on some projects and things like that today.
So Patricia, for those of you folks out there that are watching just this first video, story number 11, Life Stories with Patricia Farris, a very special person, a wonderful new friend. I'm very blessed to have met you and your family. We mentioned in our previous stories that Patricia has 4 children, 2 sons, the eldest being Paul,
Right.
then comes Bill, William, 1952, then Patty, that's born in 1955 like myself, and then the youngest, we just said hi to Laura, 1968. So she was the little baby in the family. Anyway, so here we are. So thanks for joining us for a few minutes. We're just having an impromptu conversation.
And you speak about impromptu, and this speaks to living the moment. This was very spontaneous. I had no idea we were going to do this today.
That's
Nor
100%
did you,
true.
nor did Paul.
The wind was
Nor did
blowing
Laura.
outside, and we loved the outside. Somebody called me from some faraway place and said, David, I saw that very cute video you did. What a wonderful story. But why do you have those Hollywood props behind you? And I had to text them back, actually email, say, no, this is a real physical place. Do you see the cars going by? They're not props. We couldn't afford props like that. That would be a very expensive set. But tell us how your day went by. What did you do impromptu today? You solved the problem?
Well, I actually got up this morning. I woke up about 2 because I thought about a meeting that.
So that's morning for Paul, 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
It was kind of an abrupt awakening, but I had thought about a meeting that I was supposed to go to sometime this month, but I didn't really
Babies.
remember
It's okay.
what day it was.
There's a baby behind us, one of your great-grandchildren.
My great-grandchildren.
Please remind us how many great-grandchildren you have.
I have 60 great-grandchildren, 32 grandchildren.
32 grandchildren and 60, and
And one
And coming more.
great coming on is on the way.
that's amazing. So that's the little baby in the background. What's his name?
His name is Carl the Fourth.
Carl the Fourth. Okay. Too many more Carls.
Right.
Please, folks. Sorry for
Yeah,
that.
that's all right. No, I just, it was one of those kind of mornings where I thought I had other things planned and the whole day changed.
Right.
I just had to reorganize everything because I had a meeting down in Barstow, about 80 miles away, that I had to get organized to get my son and I to get down to. And
What is your son's name?
His name is also Paul. It's Paul Jr.
Paul Jr.
And
As we mentioned earlier, they have Paul and Sons and A&L Tire.
Got it. Yes,
So
you
they
did mention
have-
about the
And
businesses.
they have a towing service, and so every once in a while they have to meet with the people that tell them all the rules for.
the local agencies that we tow for, we have to meet with them every now and then. And once a year, the sheriff's department down in Barstow has a meeting. And so we had to do that today. So that took away our first half of the day. And
So-
then,
Sorry.
that's all right. No, then just after that, it was just trying to make up for all the time that I didn't do this morning like I was supposed to. So
So you
today was
didn't,
busy.
you didn't even know we're gonna be here. We
And I didn't know we were going to do this today either.
No, we didn't know either because we're supposed to be outside. The wind is a little harsh today, and we decided impromptu to why don't we have a little conversation? And here you are. But what was your day? What made your day special today that you feel that you benefited yourself and also you were able to benefit others?
Well, I always look forward to times that I can be with some of my kids. And the way that it worked out this morning was that my oldest son and I spent some really good highway time going down to Barstow and back, and just had some really good talks.
How far is Barstow from
It's
here?
about 80 miles, so it's about an hour and a half down, an hour and a half back.
At the crossroads between Vegas and Orange County.
Correct. Yeah, it's right where 58 and then 15 join where you head up to Vegas. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful country.
But I think that was the highlight of my day.
What can you tell us? Something memorable? Could be funny, could be a special moment when your eldest son Paul grew up. Do you remember something special that he did? Or
Be careful, Mom.
I have to say that Paul was a very manageable child.
manageable?
We bonded early, and so that helped us through any what could be difficult times. We just had a great time as a family. But we did everything together, and Paul was always very supportive. He learned from his dad about how to fix things and how to take responsibility, and whatever we did, we enjoyed doing, whether it was work or play, and we always sang together, and just, but it's hard to think about one thing, a long time ago, I'm 88, that was a lot of years ago.
But it
So-
feels like yesterday.
It goes fast, but you have to think about some of the special things,
Right.
but,
I think some of the things that, as far as special things that really I look back on in very enduring ways is because our family did everything together.
Yeah.
We would go places together and, we'd get in the car and travel, and it was, never dull. We were either singing a song or playing some kind of word game or something, and it was just, everything I think about that we did growing up, it was enriching and it was meaningful because we were doing it together.
I
it
think
puts
that,
back to the simple things
Yes.
in life. Those were simple things, and we didn't have the distraction of everybody wasn't in the car talking on the phone or
Right.
playing on a video game, living in their own world. We
Right.
shared.
it seems to me that there's a recurring theme, just like when you listen to a classical piece of music like Beethoven's Fifth. It's a great example how a great composer for 30 or 35 minutes can use a simple formula and repeat it endlessly, and it doesn't sound boring. Ta 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 ta. And throughout that whole magnificent
That's true.
symphony, those 4 notes, one of them is repeated 3 times, and the second one is the end of the note, ta 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 ta, throughout the music. So a composer can have only 4 notes played for 35 minutes. You have to be a very special composer, and Beethoven did that. But to me, it seems that the red thread that goes throughout your lives, which I think was set when you and your husband, the blessed name Frederick, took that fateful flight.
Airplane ride.
Yes,
In
airplane.
college,
Yes, a decision was made, and I think that must have been in his nature and probably in your nature to always do things together.
He was one of 6 children, I was one of 7, and so we understood family.
Right.
And they were always there, the brothers and sisters were always very close, and my brothers and sisters, we were always
So
very
you
close.
set the tone, just like in music, you set the tempo and the intensity and the values through the simple idea that even if he had to open up and start a mission somewhere else in the country, he would take everybody along, not say, I'll see you in 6 months, I'll come back in 4 months. And like they say, the family that lives together, works together, plays together, stays together. And that's the unifying bond that goes throughout the generations. I noticed this theme in every one of our previous 10 stories. So this is a wonderful insight on a real American family built on tradition, morality, love, and faith. So
Faith is the strongest tie.
tell me in a few words, and I know it's very difficult to encapsulate in a minute or 2, something that's special about your father. And I'm asking a very difficult question, thinking about my own father that's also not here anymore. But if you could give us an insight, something that stays with you all the time about your dear father.
That is a hard question.
Yeah.
Because Dad was very, very meaningful and very close, and he always kept us close.
Was he authoritarian?
No, not really.
Can I explain that?
Oh,
Because I
please.
kind of had to, being a minister's wife, you're always in the fishbowl, goldfish bowl, because everybody's watching you and how you deal with your children. And I thought people would probably think that we were not authoritarian parents, but more, what's the other? More passive, I guess you'd say. But somehow our children understood their boundaries.
So it was sort of like a steel fist in a velvet glove.
Right.
You would
They-
not
they-
want to squeeze too hard.
So we didn't, but they wanted to please us. If you can develop that relationship where your children want to please you, then you walk together a lot better.
Because the modeling principle, and I'm going to give you the proverbial microphone in one quick second. It seems to me that the best way to teach a child is to model.
That's true.
And when the children, even when they're very, very young, they see that you want to please them in a natural way, they reciprocate without too many words or explanations. And I think this is what's at work, the magic of love, faith, and being together. Please, I'd like to have
That's all right.
Paul's
No,
thoughts.
and as I look back, you know, Mom and Dad both instilled in us a very strong desire and goal to not only please them, but to please God, and to learn to walk and have God in our lives in all of our existence. And I think that in itself was probably the strongest thing that came from both Mom and Dad. And but I remember many times just walking out when we were at the farm and out when we were collecting the corn and everything out in the field, and I'd walk out there with Dad, and we'd walk around and pull the corn ears off, and just being out there, being with him, and he always kept us with him wherever we went.
That does remind me of something you said, that you asked earlier, that now brings to memory about something I remember especially about Paul. He was about 5, and he's speaking about going out in the garden, and it had rained, and so the garden was muddy, and so when his father would walk, it would make his foot prints longer than it, just kind of slide.
Right.
And so my Paul was trying to walk in those footprints, and he said to me, "How big is God's foot?" And I thought, he saw something special in his dad's foot being so big.
So that was not walking alone.
But yeah, but when he said, "How big is God's foot?" I thought it covers a lot of ground.
Definitely the concept covers a lot of ground.
Yes,
That's for a 5-year-old, that's an amazing insight to make that connection. That's fascinating. Well, I want to thank you very much. We'll try not to make the video super long, as we are in a new age where people in general do not have time to watch things that are too long and too wordy and all that. But I want to thank you very much, Patricia and Paul, for stopping by to say hi to us, and we will continue with our wonderful effervescent stories that show us how life should be lived by people and how it enriches your entire way of living.
And thinking about bringing enrichment, David, you brought enrichment today to our home.
Thank you.
When you shared your gift of music and the song that you wrote about the harmony,
Our world that should be in harmony.
of our world in harmony. What a great message, and how magnificently it was presented with your piano accompaniment.
Well, I was inspired by the young poet Elijah Blumov, only 25, 26 years old. I met a few years ago in New York City, and now he's originally from Brooklyn, but he lives in Texas, in Austin, if I'm not mistaken. And he's an extraordinary young person of great value, and I am confident that he's going to be the next Ezra Pound or one of our great poets. The words, I only gave him a title that I had in my mind, in my heart: Our World in Harmony with All the Distresses that are happening around the world in our own country. And he took those words, Our World in Harmony, and less than 48 hours later, he churned out.
And what brings harmony to people better than music? And when you learn to sing in harmony, that brings you to a new level for your soul and your spirit.
Yes.
That it like you say, it so enriches your life and puts you in a new dimension.
Well, you made a very good observation, and you being a wonderful musical family, and I did promise in a previous story that we're gonna include some audios from your a cappella singing from the whole family, with the children, the grandchildren, and the whole mishpucha, as we say in New York. but I just want to remind our audiences that music in itself, as coded on a piece of paper or in the mind of a composer or a poet, does not become music that you feel until a great singer like Sonia Argiro, an amazing lyrical soprano that worked at the Scala di Milano and in many other places, renditioned this song and gave it life, breathed life into it with her soul, with her singing.
It was beautiful.
It's unbelievable. So I believe that we're all connected in the harmony of life, not just with music, but in the harmony of relationships.
That's so true.
That's exactly right.
And I teach the little kids. I'm blessed and fortunate to teach the little kids. They asked me to start a music program at the wonderful charter school here. And I tell even the little kids, sometimes the teachers look at me, do they really understand that? And they do. And in order for them to understand the relationship between the 7 notes, I tell them that notes are like people. And I play 2 notes together that are very harsh, like C and D. And I say, same thing with people. Some people get along very well, just like your friends. And some people have a tougher relationship. Like when you play a C and an E, they sound very pleasant, you know. But when you play a C and a B, it's very harsh. And music can teach. When you teach children music, you also show them the parallels that in real life the notes behave the same way that human beings behave.
That's true. That's a good
Interesting.
idea.
You have a good analogy, yeah.
Well, it has to do with the frequencies of the notes, because each
Sure.
note is a particular math frequency and all that. But people exude those frequencies
That's
when
true.
they feel
It's a
sad.
form of energy.
It is a form of energy, and now
Sure.
we went to the higher levels. But we're going to do this probably in our next conversation. We don't want to elongate this story. So again, thank you very much, Patricia, the Farris family. This is Paul Farris, and thank you very much. I hope.
Laura.
Laura, thank you very much. Laura is our producer, helping us not take too long. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Do you get all